something that I find unique is that we might have differing faiths and fundamental beliefs, but we found a very healthy common ground, very healthy respect. Something I've noticed is that a lot of people in the world, my family or just friends, people around me, it's very difficult for them or for a lot of people to feel a respect, a genuine respect, or common ground and love. It almost is, they can love someone, but it's harder to love them if you can't share a similar faith or belief. This is something that I feel like you naturally have been very good at, and I want to pick your brain on how you navigate, maybe find a way to make a formula from what you use. You do it, I feel like you're a teacher, you're a superstar teacher, you do it as a leader in the church, you do it with your family. So I guess the question is, how do you get along with people, genuinely love and respect them, even while having completely fundamentally different beliefs about life and our purpose here on earth and everything? I'd pose that question to you, Eric.
Yeah. Maybe my answer is not quite what you're expecting. I would say some of it is that I'm not an especially principled person. I know that sounds weird because I'm really not prone to self-destructive behavior. I for sure have a lot of love in my heart. I always have. I love people. And I think that I just don't know how to answer this one. I wonder why I can't figure it out.
I think let's attack it at a different angle then.
Okay.
So, for example, we were talking yesterday about the Iron Man.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm going to use myself as an example because I grew up, and you knew me as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
You knew me when I was in my glory days as a Latter-day Saint. I was a hard hitter, and you've also seen me now where I feel like I still am principled, but I might not have the same faith, but we still are close. Mm-hmm. You create these events, and you could take someone like me or someone similar to me, and you find a place for me mm-hmm. where I bring value to an event like Iron Man or a podcast or like a little event, a team thing. Whereas a lot of people, in my experience, they try to show love, and they really want to, but it's just so hard for them to see. It's just hard. I don't know if Brandon should really be involved in this, or they have a harder time finding value in someone that doesn't share their faith.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be a problem. You find value in everyone in this way. How do you do that? Like, what are you looking for? What drives that?
I think I have a genuine interest in the human experience that individuals are having. And the reason that I even care what human experience that they're having is because I love them. I don't know how to explain it much more than that. And there's some people that are just built to be rule enforcers. I'm not. I'm not an especially good rule enforcer. I can enforce rules that I think would make a situation unsafe. But other than that, I just don't really care a lot about rules or dogmas or doctrines or groupthink. I'm very interested in individuals. Have I ever shared with you what I think my life's purpose is?
Briefly, but this is kind of what I wanted to dive into this a little bit. And I think that this might have, I do think that this might have something to do with maybe the answer to this question. Because this is a huge question. This is something that I think people ponder on for years, and I just kind of throw it on you in the moment. So take me through your life purpose, and then maybe we could see if we
Yeah.
can circle back and see if it has relevance.
Yeah. So when I was in the midst of my mental health crash, a friend recommended a book to me. And in this book was what this guy said was a shortcut to finding your life's purpose. I was super skeptical, and I probably should have been.
Right.
But essentially, it was to breathe and focus on your breath, and then naturally let thoughts enter your mind, such as, what is my earliest happy memory? And then once that memory comes into your mind, you write down on a piece of paper, who was there, what was I doing, how was I feeling, other than just happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I would even add, were you inside or outside? Because I've done this with other people before. And so your first early memory may be something that you hadn't thought of in forever, like you're 5 years old.
Okay.
And then 8, and then 10, and then 12. And it is amazing how quickly and vividly these memories come into your brain. And you don't know if you can completely trust them, but if they're vivid enough, you're like, oh man, there must be something to this. And at the end of 8 or 10 of these memories, you have a chunk of information about the most meaningful, happiest times in your life. And ironically, I've done this with other people before, almost everybody is outside, they're not inside, and they're with other people. Like when I say, and who's there in that memory? People will go, well, my dad or my little sister, or my brothers. But only once has anyone said, I was all by myself. Which means that, by and large, human beings are happiest when they're around a group of people. That would be my guess.
Okay.
We're herd animals. Okay? So, am I taking too long to answer this?
No,
Is
you
this
take
okay?
no. This is good because
Okay.
you're not taking too. Hell no, man. This is listen. This is what I'm wanting people to hear this process because I genuinely think that you have this gift, and like I've said before, I use this in poker. I use this in my life. I still believe in superpowers. We were talking about it. Like I think that there's modern day superheroes. I think people have gifts.
Yeah.
I think one of mine is I can read people. I can sense energy, and this is something I've always sensed in you more than almost anyone I know. And what I'm trying to do is more like pull it out of you, which I know is going to be such a difficult thing because it's so intuitive in your being.
Yeah.
So take as long as you like.
Yeah.
I want people to hear your like what your purpose is, how you came to that,
Yeah.
and maybe that can help them find theirs, and then also connect with people, you know,
Yeah.
that they might be distant from, you know.
Yeah.
So continue. So wait, you said when you say people are on the outside, are you meaning like they're outside of a house or something with a group of people?
Yeah,
Or-
so I've often wondered whether, as I listen to people, so where 2 or more are gathered, there I am also.
Mhm.
I wonder whether we commune with God easier in groups than we do individually sometimes. So that would be a divine connection. And then when you're outside, you are having a connection with nature. And then when you're around other individuals, you're connecting with the group, your herd, your tribe, which is primal. And the
Yeah.
fact that you're even remembering it as a happy or meaningful moment, meaning that there's a substantial connection to self. There's a lot happening in these experiences that make them stick out in your brain. And so I remember my earliest happy memory was when I was about 5 years old, trapping squirrels with my grandpa Geddes.
Okay.
He was the vice president of Lamar University, very well educated, well respected man, and he would come home and take off his suit and tie and put on grubby clothes and catch squirrels in the backyard with his grandkid. You know, like that's beast mode.
That is beast mode. That might be like one of the most manly things you can
Yeah,
do.
it really is. And I was like, man, why is that memory so powerful to me? And I don't know that I still totally understand, but as I had series of memories like that, and then I remembered hiking up to a glacier lake in Utah as a young man, and we went swimming. It was probably my first true polar plunge, even though I didn't know what that was at the time. And the only reason I got in is because young men measure everything by one yardstick. Does this make me look tough? And the number of stupid things that young men do and grown men to look tough is up there. Ironically, I think most young women, their measuring stick is, does this make me look attractive? And the strange things, like at the base level, that young men will do to be tough and young women will do to be attractive. So I get in this glacier lake. It was not warm enough, even sitting by a fire, to warm up. So we all started running through the woods and up the trails to try to get our body temperature up. And that was one of the best memories of my life. And that was actually when I thought maybe I need to try doing cold plunges again. And it turns out like that seed had been planted as a teenager and I forgot about it. So in the midst of all of these memories and finding the thread that moves through them all, I had maybe an understanding of what purpose I might have, what I'm built for. And it ties closely to teaching, but it can best be represented by a Thomas Kinkade painting. So Thomas Kinkade, famous painter, known as the master of light in the painting world. And in all of his artwork, there's always a light on in a window of a cabin or cottage or castle or home. And there's always smoke coming from the chimney. Okay. And that's my life purpose. I'm supposed to be the smoke from the chimney and the light on in the window for weary travelers. And so if you're wondering why I have such an eclectic group of people that I get along with, I'm not sure it's anything I'm consciously doing. It's what God built me to be, which is a resting place for people to just be loved and understood for a little while.